Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another velocity banking review. Did you know that this is a velocity banking cult? And sometimes outsiders just try to come in and attack the velocity banking cult. That's why, even as far as 6 months ago, I said, leave the velocity banking cult alone, and people come in attacking the cult. I mean, take a look at this guy right here. These videos are good, but you keep doing the same video all the time. There's nothing new to it. It would be better if you did new things for your subs and future subs. And my response to that is leave the velocity banking cult alone. Leave the velocity banking cult alone. Leave Brittany alone. Leave Brittany alone. Anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and do another velocity banking review. And so, what is the number one velocity banking cult rule? Is that we must do the same spreadsheet over and over again. And I've actually talked about this in previous videos where it's like, I make the same video over and over again. And the reason why I make the same video over and over again is because most people are quite awful at what they do. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know if you ever heard of Price's Law. And actually, let me actually briefly mention Price's Law. So, let me actually just type in Google Price's Law. So what does this mean? It means that anytime like you have a group of people, 50% of the work is done by the square root of the number of group of people. So just kind of doing quick math right here. So if I have 10,000 people in a company, the square root of that is 100, and then whoopsie is 100, and then that means 100 people do 50% of the work, which means that the 9,000, what, 90,000, wait, is it 10? Yeah, 9,900 people do the other 50%. Now, why is it that so little people do most of the work? It's because the vast majority of people are quite awful at what they do, and they don't practice doing the same thing over and over again, right? You know, it's that Bruce Lee quote, I would fear the man who does one kick 10,000 times rather than 10,000 kicks once. And we have people like that come in and tell us like, hey, Bruce Lee quote, really? Even Caleb Hammer does the same videos. And it's like, ugh, this is why I don't mess with most people, because they're just garbage, right? They just waste my time. And they think like, "Hey, it's a bad thing that you do the same thing over and over again," when it's not. Folks, submit to the to the cult, right? Submit to the cult. Number one rule of the cult is that you must do the same spreadsheet over and over again. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So there's really two things when it comes to velocity banking. Number one is a budget, right? So we have a budget right here: income, expenses, leftover savings. And then after we do our expense breakdown, we list every single debt that we have, right? All of credit. I mean, there's only a certain maximum different types of debts that you can have, right? Which is just a credit card, auto, student loan, mortgage, maybe a personal loan. If you're doing a business loan, right? You just list every single debt that you have. And then you list the payments associated with it, because this is a debt payoff strategy. And then in the very last line item, you list all your general non debt expenses: food, gas, insurance, right? Same thing over and over again. We must do the same thing over and over again. Number one velocity banking cult rule is we must do the same spreadsheet over and over again. Now, on the velocity banking side, we have the same income and we have the same expenses, okay? And the whole point of this is that we're going to redirect the flow of money, and we're going to do something that most people are afraid to do, which is not save it. Okay, not save it. So if I take a look here, I just don't save any money. I just don't save any money. If money comes in, it just goes out, right? That's the whole point of velocity banking. And we're going to move it into a debt instrument, usually called something called a line of credit. So, what is a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay back, and then use it over and over again, right? A credit card's a line of credit, but they also have personal lines of credit, business lines of credit, home equity lines of credit, right? I have all of them. Yeah, I got all of them, all of them, all of them. And that's why I have over 500 and what, $94,000 in lines of credit? 594,000. Sometimes when I say I don't even believe it because like, do I really have that much? And then the more I get credit, the more I can't even remember how much I have in total. But here's the secret to getting credit is that banks don't lend money to people who need it, right? And a lot of people try to fight this. And that's why I have to say the same thing over and over again because people just don't listen. I hate it when people don't listen, right? I got to say this over and over again. I got to make the same video over and over again because people don't listen. Banks don't lend money to people who need it. And there are way too many people out there who try to get the money when they need it because they think of a bank like a restaurant. Like I go to a restaurant because I'm hungry, right? I go to a restaurant because I'm hungry. I should go to a bank because I need money, right? Mm-mm. No, that's a bad idea because banks are risk management institutions because they know from the many, many transactions that they've done over many, many years that people who need money are the biggest risk. And so if you ever tell a bank that you need money, they'll laugh you out the door, right? Remember that. Banks don't lend money to people who need it. But for this example, we're going to assume we have access to a free and clear $110,000 home equity line of credit at 10%. And again, this is my line of credit, 280,000, 7.5. So, what you have access to will vary. But as I said before, the only way you can get credit is when you don't need it because banks don't lend money to people who need it. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. And I'm going to move some debt into the line of credit. And the easiest way to start with is that we're going to use the cash flow index. Okay. And so, what is the cash flow index? All it is a formula. Oh, leave Brittany alone. Leave Brittany alone. You ever look at this dude? No, I'm not gonna lie. This dude's actually really handsome in real life. Like, I don't know what he was going for here, but you take a look at him here, man, he does look handsome. All right, so let's go ahead and what am I talking about? I was just so distracted by all right, cash flow index. Um all right, so cash flow index, all it is a formula of the loan balance divided by the minimum monthly payment, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just do this right here, which is 5,000 divided by 175, and then this one is 30,000 divided by 1050, and then this one is 35,000 divided by 1137.5. This one is 33,000 divided by 1045. And then I'll just get the loans from here. So let me just do these. Okay. So we have an easy way to calculate the cash flow indexes here. All right. And so now you could just think of this as like a ranking system. The lower the number, the more bang you get for your buck in terms of cash flow. So if I have these low numbers, so let me just kind of show you here. Why is it preferable to pay off these low numbers rather than like these high numbers, right? Well, would you pay 35 grand to get $1,137 of cash flow back or 210 grand to get $1,002 of cash flow back? Obviously, you would attack these because there's just more bang for your buck, right? So that's the whole idea is we take the lower ranking ones, move into line of credit, and we're going to start off with the credit cards first, right? The ones below 50. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think this is, how much is it? 5, 30, 35, 33. And then this is 103,000, 103,000, 103,000. And guess what happens when we move this $103,000 into the line of credit? Okay, this is the most amazing part of me doing the same thing over and over again. And the reason I do the same thing over and over again, because this is a cult. And that's what a good cult leader must do. We must maintain the integrity of the cult and repeat the same thing over and over again. I just cannot believe it. Leave the cult alone. Leave the cult alone. I'm gonna cry inside. Anyways, so let's go ahead and do this. And I right here, this is the part where people stare at this and they're like, what? Because we literally, so you see how like we have the same income and we just kind of shift our expenses and we literally went from $53 to $3,460.66. Now the final step. is we put our entire paycheck into the line of credit. We take our expenses out and then we rinse and repeat over and over again. We just rinse and repeat. And then, so this cash flow number is the number that's used to reduce the line of credit balance. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is just do the same formula that we've always done. So to get the next month's balance, it's based on the previous month's balance interest minus our cash flow. And then what we're going to do is take the average daily balance, multiply it by the interest rate, which is in this case would be 0.1, and then divide by 12. All right, so let's go ahead. And actually, let me just quickly check. What's the difference between 0.1 and 0.075, which is my interest rate? Whoopsie, screwed up here. 632 versus 843. So there is a $200 difference. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And I am going to do this. And then we see right here in 35 months that we are going to pay off the credit card debt. And I'm going to do this. All right, so now let's go ahead and do this and then we have a loan calculator here. And so auto loan, student loan, and mortgage. Again, easiest way to figure out which debts to pay off is using what we call the cash flow index. And as you can see here, for paying off this 9 grand, even though it's a lower interest rate, I'm going to get more bang for my buck in terms of cash flow. So what we're going to do is just copy and paste this. And I'm going to just do this right here. And then this is going to be plus 9261.98. And then this is going to be 0. And I am going to update this cash flow. So this is going to be 3847.41. All right. And then we see that we're going to do this right here. And all right. So now this is, I think, 37 months. 37 months. And then this is going to be 103 plus 21. And this is going to be 124K. All right. So now, oh, not this one. My bad. All right. So now let's go ahead and move the student loan. So it's going to be 37. Two things that you got to be aware of: the higher this number is, and then the more of a difference this number has with the line of credit interest rate. Got to be careful. And this is a warning for y'all, especially when it comes to a 30-year mortgage, because a lot of YouTubers on the internet talk about how you should always move a loan to a line of credit. And especially with the 30-year mortgage, that's a mistake, right? But let's go ahead and move this one into the line of credit. So now it's the student loan. All right, so plus 24517.46. And then now this is 0, and then 4 grand. This is going to be right here, 4197.43. All right, so 43 months. This is all paid off. So 43 months, and then this is going to be 124 plus 33. So that's going to be 157K. And then now we're at the mortgage. Awesome. So luckily, because I did the exact same scenario last time, I had this velocity banking calculator filled out. And actually, let me go ahead and do this right here. What month are we at? 43. So 43. And then do this right here. And then you see that it's 196. So I think I put that here. Yeah. And so luckily with this velocity banking calculator plug and play, you just kind of throw it in there. And you see that in 3.4 years, it's completely paid off. Now, let's do the thing where instead of doing the $8,000 chunks, like small chunks into the line of credit, we replace the whole thing with a line of credit. 40 grand of interest, no thanks, right? So as you can see here, I'd rather pay 14 grand than 40 grand, right? And that's why, you got to be careful, especially with this first lien HELOC, which is what this is, right? So 3.4 years, and that's pretty much it, folks. All right. So 43 divided by 12 plus 4.3, which means 7.88 years. Is it really 7.88 years? Holy balls. 43 months. Okay. I feel like the number I had last time was was higher than that, but I might be wrong. So 7.88 years, and then we are debt free, and the amount of debt that we have is 367. That was pretty easy, right? That was pretty easy. And so can we have a goat here? So for every debt that we pay off, I just kind of put a goat, which is the greatest of all time. And again, so this is just me where I have not ChatGPT, Meta AI drawing me as the goat of velocity banking, the realistic picture versus the cartoon. And I'm just going to stare at this to boost my ego, which is me paying off a mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Folks, this is how you get good. You just do the same spreadsheet over and over again. But sometimes people don't like it when you're too good. People don't like it when you do the same thing over and over again. People want novelty, right? They need like the 200th flavor of ice cream, and they just can't be fine with chocolate and vanilla. And what's the other one with that they usually put? The Napoleon ice cream. Is it strawberry? I don't even know. But that's what people want. They want novelty. They don't want to be good at what it is that they do. I'm sorry, but they just keep attacking the velocity banking cult. That's why I made that video 6 months ago. Leave the cult alone, because people keep attacking for some reason, and I got to make videos like this telling you don't attack the cult. And the number one rule of the cult is that we must make the same spreadsheet over and over again. Kind of like Fight Club, but not as cool as Fight Club. To be honest. All right, so let me just stare at this a little bit more to boost my ego, which is I paid off a mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Like, yeah, I know, right? I don't even believe it myself when I say it. But people want to tell me what to do. And I'm like, no, no, this is why I'm the cult leader, because I demand other people follow the rules of the cult. That's what a good cult leader does. We don't listen to dumb YouTube comments. No, I'm sad. I'm sad when outsiders try to attack the cult. And I'm actually sad because I did a terrible job of not converting this person to this cult, and now they want to attack me. Uh, man. Oh well. Let me just stare at my mortgage I paid off in 2 years and 9 months. Just stare at it maybe 10 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. Just made the same video over and over again. And don't worry, we're going to keep making the same video over and over again. Nothing will break the integrity of the best velocity banking cult ever. In fact, let me just type that up. Velocity banking cult. Just want you to know that this is the best velocity banking cult ever. And I made a video on that too. All right. Have a great day, folks. This is Karina Lenta Mentorship, and I'll see you on the next video where I make the same video over and over again.